I'm Gugu, and this is round one of the Bridgestone production cars at Kyalami. Welcome to the 2011 season of the Westbank Super Series.
Show. 4.2 Ks of hungry tarmac awaits almost in ambush. It's demanding, it's fast, it's Kyalami, and it plays host to round one of the Westbank Super Series, and in particular, the Bridgestone production cars. Defending champion Taylor in Class A and Nathan in Class T will know that reputations mean nothing to a chasing pack.
For all information on the Westbank Super Series, SMS the word motorsports to 31329 or visit our website www.westbanksuperseries.co.za and stay in the loop.
Right now, let's go to qualifying, and of course, lots in the mix. Right now, let's pick it up with Greg.
Not as crucial as last year, qualifying basically only for race one. That's the important aspect to get done and dusted here, because there is some championship points up for grabs. 3 for pole, 2 for second place, and 1 for third.
Most amazing thing is we've got a brand new format in the Bridgestone production class. We'll go through that, of course, during the course of the show.
Man to beat, though, was the Aprox BMW. He got on pole position, and it's Anthony Taylor alongside his teammate Melville Priest.
On the second row, very interesting stuff as well to watch out for. Michael Stephen and Henny Kronevold.
Subaru really looking good, and his teammate was just a little further back behind him in 5th place. Alongside him, Chop Sapuka.
On the next row, Johan Ferré and Marco Acuna is back with a 350Z Nissan.
His brother Paolo just behind them in 9th place. We're going to be pushing hard in the Q8's 350Z.
Qualifying third in the first race of the new season. Happy?
Yeah, most definitely. We didn't expect to be third on the grid. Obviously, we're racing with the old cars. The new S4s aren't quite ready. We didn't want to bring them out without doing a bit of shakedown and that. So we'll save that for Cape Town. So third on the grid with the old car, we're very satisfied.
Chops, an incredible ending to the season. We felt that had the season progressed maybe another 2 or 3 races, you would have been right in the mix. It was a fantastic resurgence of your driving ability. Can we expect much the same this season?
Oh, most definitely. You know, we're just unfortunate that we had technical issues with the car. But all those gremlins have been sorted out, and I'm sure we're going to do well here in Kyalami. I think 6th position is a good place to be. So I can't cry about it. We're just going to put out a good show out there.
It looks like there's big improvement for you as well. 0.002 of a second. In terms of distance, what is that?
We're not sure. We're gonna work it out just for fun, but it's probably a half a car length or something like that, you know. But if you think about it, the most interesting, there's 13 or 14 corners around Kyalami. 0.002 of a second divided by that 13 or 14, you know, it's unmeasurable, the difference on each corner. So it's close. It's always a pity to be on the wrong side of 0.002 of a second, but that's sometimes the way it is. But looking forward to the race.
And it seems like nothing's changed. Anthony Taylor on pole.
Yeah, no, it's a great start to the new season. With Aprox on board again once more for this year, I think it's superb the way we've started with the 1-2, and let's hope that it just doesn't end there. That we can make the good use out of it for the race, and then also for the rest of the day.
2011 begins. It's a brand new race season, Greg.
Look out for the 2 Aprox BMWs off the line, but check out Chop Sapuka. Getting a good start and going on the outside of Henny Kronevold. It's BMWs 1 and 2, Audis 3 and 4, and it looks like it might be 5 and 6. The Sassel, oh no, Pinard not getting a great start, but Henny Kronevold in that Sassel Subaru already starting to put the pressure onto Stephen.
Fastest man in qualifying was Anthony Taylor, got it on pole, and he decided to have a rolling start Of course, he does carry some success ballast, as do all those positions up to number 6.
Now, the important factor there that you picked up on, Steve, is the pole man gets to decide whether we start rolling or we start stationary on the grid. And that's quite a crucial one when you've got the all-wheel drive Subarus and the Quattro Audis right on your tail as a rear-wheeled BMW. So a good move there, and it looks like it's paying off because the two BMs opening up a little bit of a gap now. Michael Stephen having a bit of a battle with his own teammate there. These guys should be in the S4s right now, but those cars not ready just yet. I can't wait to see those when they come through, hopefully for Cape Town in round 2. But right now, they're holding their own in amongst the usual contenders.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3, Anthony Taylor, Melville Priest, Michael Stephen. Of course, the most impressive thing with these Afrox BMWs, there was 0.02 of a second between those in qualify. Of course, there's not much on paper, is it?
Chop Sapuka under massive pressure now from Michael Stephen as they come out of Westbank and onto the Westbank mine shaft. The Sassel Subaru is there too. So it's basically the all-wheel drive cars in the background trying to chase down on the two Afrox BMWs. Grunewald all over the back. Michael Stephen is going to be worried about this. He needs to get ahead of Chops, and hopefully Chops can help him out. There he goes on the inside. But Chops is so good on the brakes there. He runs a little bit wide coming out of the ball. That you don't do to Michael Stephen, but they are side by side heading down towards 13.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have some words on that. 1 and 2, Melville Priest, Anthony Taylor leading the pack out at the moment, and still Stephen under pressure from Chop Sapuka. He's going to be a man the whole day to watch, I reckon. Of course, last season, if that laps, or rather the races had been longer, I reckon that Chop Sapuka would have been in the mix. Right now, let's get back to the action, and still under pressure, Chop Sapuka from Michael Stephen. And look at Henny Grunewald all over Michael Stephen.
Yeah, Johan Farie's just behind them too, so the Audis and Subarus look in the distance though. Those BMs are getting away. This little in-house battle between the Engine Extreme Audis is definitely costing them time, and Melville Priest and Anthony Taylor are getting away. That's not what you need to be doing. Remember, there are 4 6-lap sprint races this year. You cannot go and worry about the longer race to try and make up the time. It is all sprinting and it's all action right from the word go.
On the way down through to Goodyear, and then it's into Sunset, and on the way up to Club. Oh, look at this. Henny Grunewald down the inside. It's a brilliant racing move, and he manages to get ahead of Michael Stevens. I think Michael didn't see him coming.
Yeah, Michael was definitely caught watching Chop Sapuka there, and unfortunately just worrying about his teammate. Didn't see Grunewald's move coming out of turn 3 and 4. He set that up beautifully, got the drive onto the little straightaway, and has now moved up into 4th. So Michael Stephen has it all to do now. He has to catch Henny Grunewald and then start to put the pressure back onto his teammate, but he's not holding back, is he? Look at this. Look how close he's getting to Grunewald.
Sassel Subaru, it's a brand new livery, and it looks really, really nice. More importantly, it's not just about the looks. He's motoring, and now he draws alongside Chop Sapuka. Tries to get the front end in. Chops blocks it off as well under pressure. He's going to know that Henny Grunewald is behind him, and will know that that car means business. Look at this, side by side. I think he's got the drive. He might just get Chop Sapuka here as they're on the way down to the bowl shortly.
Around the outside of the sweep, that is massive cojones to get that right. He's got it right. He goes on the inside. Michael Stephen goes with him, and Stephen's going to sneak through on Chop Sapuka. That is awesome driving from these guys. A little bit of room, a little bit of touching, and Rubbing's racing as they come into 13. Oh, it's touched again. Can you believe it? Chop's turned into his teammate. Michael Stephen goes off, and Johan Farie just capitalizes on that. Oh, check that, lights flashing, going, I didn't like that one, Chops. That's not how we do things in the Engine Extreme team.
Yeah, I think Terry Moss might have had heart failure if he'd seen that on a monitor at the moment. Flapping bodywork from Henny Grunewald, who's chasing down the 2 BMWs from Afrox. And I'll tell you what, this is not done and dusted, even if it is a sprint race.
Well, we're on the final lap of the sprint race. Remember, they've only got 6 laps to go out there and do the trouble that needs to be done. And at this stage, the BMs have had no trouble whatsoever. 1 and 2 formation flying at the front end, and the Afrox boys are going to be very happy with this performance.
Here they come again right now, 1 and 2 from BMW. Of course, the package continues to be very, very successful, and particularly here, the rear-wheel drive at Kyalami looking the business into the bowl.
Check out Henny Grunewald's car. The boot has come open and he's got a massive downforce problem now. Hopefully he can keep it all together. Hopefully we get a pick. There it is. Look at that. The bumper's in the... He had to stop and pick up the bumper, I think. Put it in the boot. He's going to manage to hang on to 3rd place, but no one is going to catch Anthony Taylor. He started the season where he ended off last year at the top.
Well, at least Johan Farie's got something to aim for, the boot of Henny Grunewald.
There's no doubt about that. Across the line and the checkered flag is coming out, and it's Afrox BMW's 1 and 2, Sassel Subaru in 3rd place. Good recovery here for Johan Farie in the Indy Oils Audi A4. You can see that he's got a bit of work to do, and he's got an S4 coming too. But there you go. Taylor and Priest making it 1 and 2 for BMW. Henny Grunewald, a good start to the season in 3rd. Johan Farie and Chop Sapuka making it Audis 4 and 5. Michael Stephen makes it 6th. And Pinard, a good drive from him in 7th. The 2 Nissans down in 8th and 9th.
At Kyalami, Anthony Taylor, great start. Good to get off to a good way.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, with a pole and then a race win, it's good. I'm very, very pleased about it. I think another 2 or 3 laps, I think a Subaru would have had us, because I saw you coming with at a rate of knots. So we'll see now what happens on the reverse grid.
A reverse grid is the way things have happened for 2010, but an innovative format sees a draw to see how many cars will be inverted. And with this time out, Jan Maritz from Bridgestone says 6 cars. So the top 6 cars will be inverted for race 2 start. And it's a rolling start because the man who went on to pole position is the Audi, and he's decided to go on the rolling start.
Maybe strong words in the Moss camp, more duct tape for Henny Grunewald. Ferrari wasn't on the pace, and Team Afrox are licking their lips. A reverse grid, a lot of style draw, and we have a script in the making for race 2. Michael Steven moves to pole and selects a rolling start. This is race 2.
Yeah, and check who's right behind him. Henny Grunewald and Anthony Taylor. Chopsapuka holding back the rest of the field around the outside. Cunha looking for a way past Ferrari, and Pinard not getting such a good start yet again, but still getting to grips with that brand new machinery and new liveried cars. They come down towards Sunset Corner. Around the outside, we saw Henny Grunewald do it at the pole. Can he go around the outside of Sunset? He's looking good. Oh, but just gets forced out wide by that Engine Extreme Audi of Michael Steven.
Looks like one of the BMWs putting some pressure on. It is, in fact, Anthony Taylor trying to get on the outside of Michael Steven. No room there, but Henny Grunewald is making a move.
Car's going to be a little bit... Oh, a massive crash there out of nowhere. What did Paulo Cunha do? Cunha goes a little bit wide on the outside, and the exit of that turn puts the wheel on the dirt and goes slamming straight into that wall. That could possibly be a problem here. Are we going to see a red flag? We'll have to wait and see. Right now, the action continues at the front end. They didn't even see that because he was the last car in this pack.
I would have loved to have seen a replay of that because he just came out of nowhere and across the side of the track. What a place to lose it. Back on the pace at the moment. Henny G, Michael Steven dicing it out. Henny G's got the inside line. Steven has no answer, but tagging along one of the BMWs, that's Anthony Taylor. Chopsapuka still in the mix, and maybe they've calmed down. Let's get on the gas again. Oh, Steven on the outside. Having a look? I don't think so. We're on board with Steven at the moment. All over Anthony Taylor. Henny Grunewald gets a good drive. Those Subarus are just motoring at the moment.
It's amazing what they've done in the off-season, and the testing is definitely starting to pay off here. The Taylor's BMW has also got some pace. There's no doubt about that. He went on the inside, got through, and got into second place. And now it is a freight train of Engine Extreme Audis coming behind for 3 and 4. And then you got Johan Ferrari, so there's 3 Audis pushing for the latter part of the top 5. And there's nothing in it between the top 2. Look at this. Taylor has caught onto the back end of Grunewald. He's already looking to show a wheel up the inside into turn 4.
That's not the only thing that Ferrari is going to be worried about right now under pressure, because Melville Priest, and you know how quick that BMW is, I reckon we've got to move. Oh, yeah, has a look at that. Look, Melville Priest trying on the outside of Ferrari, back to the leaders, and still Henny Grunewald leads them out.
Well, we're into halfway point, and you can see the 2 leaders have got away, but now it's Melville Priest, the fastest man on the track at this stage, pushing hard, trying to get past Johan Ferrari in the Indy Oils Audi. Now remember, those Audis are going to be replaced with S4 machines when we get to Cape Town, so there's definitely a big, big look up here, and a big up to these guys for pushing their older machinery, and whoa, pushing it a bit too far there. Chopsapuka goes wide, and fortunately he's got Quattro. It kept him on the road, it kept him on the black stuff, but only just ahead of Johan Ferrari.
Well, we've been speaking about this new innovative format, Greg, which means that teams, drivers, and mechanics will have to bring their A game to survive these 4 sprint races. And look at the pressure that's being created right now. Ferrari is having a charge all over Chopsapuka.
He certainly is pushing it, and so is Priest. And here comes Pinard out of nowhere. Richard Pinard has a look on the inside, going into the S's. Can he sneak through on Melville Priest? No, he can't. He tried very hard. Oh, Taylor's got a problem. Taylor's starting to fall back there. I don't know what's gone wrong in the Afrox BMW.
Turbo.
Can you believe it? The turbo has gone on the car, and that's it. If you don't have the turbocharge on that car, it doesn't run at the pace that these cars are running at, and he's now going to have to try and nurse that car home and just salvage some points.
Yeah, that's the scary thing with those BMWs. If he hasn't done a tire and there's no body damage, more than likely it has to be the turbo. They're serious motor cars, these.
Pinard into the pressure, back onto Melville Priest and into the bowl. Chopsapuka goes defensive. Johan Ferrari tries to go around his outside. He's going to be forced wide by Chops. It's good driving by both of them, giving enough room, but Ferrari runs a little bit too wide for my liking. Here comes Melville Priest. Can he sneak through into 13? Yes, he can. Thank you very much. You do not open the door for Melville Priest that way. Johan Ferrari, oh, a little bit of a mistake there from him, has cost him dearly.
It has indeed, Greg. It has indeed. But I'll tell you what, I'm very surprised. Richard Pinard is starting to get something out of that Subaru, and he's bringing pressure to bear. Henny Grunewald. Look at that, Michael Steven. And it is Anthony Taylor. The other Subaru, Richard Pinard. Uh-oh, looks like Chops has got a problem.
Chops has also slowed up dramatically coming out of the S's. So now De Cunha sees Johan free and possibly going one position further up. Michael Stephen has to go very defensive. He's got the second of the Aprox BMWs on his tail now, and it's no longer Taylor. This time out is Melville Priest, and his car is firing on all cylinders, so don't worry about that. Just make sure you can make that Audi A4 as wide as an A8.
One of the big factors in this new innovative format for Bridgestone production car racing is the fact that if you are behind or you're lagging, it's best to keep driving, because with the reverse grids now becoming 4, 6 or 8 cars, you're always going to be in the mix, so you've got to carry driving to the end.
You've got to try and give it everything you can. So Melville Priest hanging on for dear life, trying everything he can to get past, but it's too little too late, unfortunately. Grunewald is going to take the second race victory here today. So we've had a BMW take a checkered flag. This time out, it is a Subaru, and we're going to have an Audi, a BM, and nearly another Subaru in the mix there as well. Awesome driving from our top 4 drivers.
All right, let's get some stunning results at the moment. And, of course, a great class win for Henny Grunewald, Michael Stephen, Melville Priest, Richard Pinard, and Johan Ferré. That's your top 5. Moving on to 6, Marco De Cunha, Chop Sapuka, Anthony Taylor didn't finish, and Paulo De Cunha.
Congratulations on a great race win. You must be ecstatic, Henny.
Yeah, I think we're really chuffed for a few reasons, you know, and mainly that we've passed a lot of the battles that we had last year, understanding these cars technically, and really to come here and give Team Sassel Subaru their first win of the season straight out. We're really happy, you know. For me, it's a proud day to be a Sassel Subaru driver.
Race 3 and another 6 laps of action about to come your way. And the way the grid's been set up is the fastest laps from race 1. So it is Anthony Taylor on pole, alongside him his teammate Henny Grunewald and Chop Sapuka. That's the top 4 as they head down into turn 1.
That's not the most important thing as well, Greg. We've got a rolling start on this as well, and we've got success ballast for the BMW. 70 kilograms is what Anthony Taylor is carrying, Melville Priest 50 kilograms, and Henny Grunewald carrying 35 is your top 3.
So looking back at Henny Grunewald at the moment with a little less ballast than what we've got in Melville Priest and Anthony Taylor's cars, but it didn't affect him in the first race. So is it going to affect him here in race 3? We'll have to wait and see as they head down towards sunset. Chop Sapuka already under pressure, and look at this, an amazing drive from Pinard. He's just got better and better during the day.
Yeah, I noticed that myself as well, and also a resurgence of Chop Sapuka's driving skill also coming to the fore. Anyway, getting back to the racing action, and we're still being led out by the BMW Anthony Taylor. And we're on board. Oh, look at this. We've got some action here.
Plenty of action. Going into Sunset Corner, you could see something was going to go wrong between the BMW and that Sassel Subaru, and it went wrong in a big way. Because right now it is a BMW that has turned around completely and off the circuit. And will he be able to recover? Up into Westbank. This is the leaders. It's Grunewald and Chop Sapuka's up to second. So we've lost both of the BMs in that little fray. One had to take evasive action, and now has to come from the back of the field. It's going to be a hot 6 laps.
Yeah, I know. It's going to encourage also Richard Pinard as well, because I think he's starting to find some pace from this other Subaru. He's got to first get through Johan Ferré, and that's no easy cakewalk as well. Nice driving skill here at the moment from Kenny Grunewald, leading them out. And under pressure right now from two cars, and both of them being Audis.
Yeah, one engine extreme car of Chopsapuka, the Indy Oil car there is Johan Fourie. Michael Stephen is still in the mix. He's just behind, but he's got to get past Pinard first. So that little incident between the BM and the Subaru hasn't affected the Subaru that much. Fortunately, able to use that all-wheel drive system and drive around the spinning BMW.
And how surprising, it isn't going to be a clean sweep for BMW. Why? Because they ain't there.
Well, they're at the front end, because remember, Taylor has got to the front and got away. Grunewald is second. Now we've got Pinard up in the fourth, and Fourie doesn't have an answer. He has to tap out of it and actually uses a little bit extra over the inside of the road and some grass and dirt to get onto the brakes. Here comes Michael Stephen. Stephen has a look up the inside. Fourie was caught napping. He was watching Pinard and didn't see Stephen coming, and Michael Stephen says, thank you very much.
So Taylor still leading it out. BMW in the mix and bringing on some points. Kenny Grunewald being chased down by Chopsapuka. And there is Richard Pinard, and his name keeps surfacing. I still think we can expect a little bit more out of this car. He is driving well at the moment. Look at that. Michael Stephen having a bit of a problem. He's got Johan Fourie in his rearview mirror. And then it's Marco de Cunha in that 350Z Nissan, not on the pace at the moment.
Got a little bit of work to do there. The Q8 350Zs are possibly going to be 370s pretty soon too. You're seeing S4s come into the mix. The BMWs have got the pace, and Anthony Taylor is actually looking for a second victory here today. So there's a good possibility that Afrox BMW are going to be happy with the performance of their machines and the men in the machines. Right now, the performance at the front end, though, is between these two. And I can tell you there is nothing in it. There is a little meat in the Audi sandwich, and it's a Sassel Subaru, and not of Henny Grunewald, actually a Pinard. Pinard pulls out and looks to go past Chopsapuka down the West Bank mine shaft, and does it like he was standing still.
Into the bowl. Where did he find that kind of power from? Chopsapuka going to try and come back at him. There's no ways. You have all four-wheel drive with that Sassel Subaru. It's just amazing.
He got it all perfectly done, and that's just set him up nicely for a Sassel Subaru 2 and 3. They're not going to catch the Afrox BMW, but this is superb stuff. I mentioned it earlier. I was expecting to see Pinard on the podium. I didn't expect to see him in race 3, but there he is.
Okay, so the two Sassel Subarus continue their surge, and they're upwardly mobile, there's no doubt about it. But can they actually get in touch with Anthony Taylor? I don't think so. Right on the money. He set the fastest time all day. He is strong. The team package is really good. But I'll tell you what, we're in for a surprise, because Henny G has proved that he can win in this car. And Anthony Taylor gets the checkered flag. Kenny Grunewald, it's 2 and 3 for Subaru. And then, of course, it's the engine extreme Audi of Chopsapuka.
The success ballast had no effect whatsoever on the Afrox BMW. He's taken 2 victories with that extra weight. That's awesome stuff for Anthony Taylor. Grunewald finishes up behind him with Pinard, his teammate, Chopsapuka and Michael Stevens making it teammates 4 and 5. And then Johan Fourie in the 6th spot in the Indy Oil Audi ahead of Marco de Cunha. Melville Priest eventually recovering to 8th. So another draw for race number 4, and this time it's 8 cars that'll be inverted. So the entire grid is inverted, and they've gone with another rolling start.
4th race, and I tell you what, the action is going to come thick and fast at the moment. It's been a lot of pressure from a lot of these drivers at the moment. Everybody's looking to get an advantage here at the moment.
6 cars abreast into turn 1.
Oh, no!
6 cars don't go into turn 1.
No ways.
And you can see it has affected both the Afrox BMW, Chopsapuka, and it looks like Johan Fourie was also involved there. There goes Fourie. He's managed to get through. Taylor is not going anywhere more than where he comes to a halt on the sideline. But at the front end, problems for Melville Priest. Oh no, the red flag's out. They've red flagged the race due to that incident. There you can see Chops' stranded engine extreme Audi. Anthony Taylor's car just a little bit further down the road. And the red flag means we will have a complete restart. But having a look at this, check this out. De Cunha comes across. Taylor tries to miss him, goes into the side of Fourie, who then tags the faultless machine there of the engine extreme Audi on the outside, and those 3 cars all involved in an incident that cost them dearly.
Yeah, it is. You know what? There's no fault here, I don't think. It is a racing incident, because I saw Chops get hard on the brakes. Telemetry would have actually proved that. The restart continues, and the BMWs surge to the front again.
Well, it's all done and dusted now, because Melville Priest won't have any competition heading down into turn 1, because we know De Cunha is not on the same kind of pace as that BMW. So he's going to be the blocking man here for the Audis that possibly want to get through. That's going to allow Melville Priest to possibly disappear at the front end. Let's wait and see if he can keep it all together, though. Fourie's into 3rd.
Also carrying some weight ballast as well, Melville Priest as well, but I reckon that won't affect him too much, because he's become accustomed to carrying that sort of weight throughout the last 3 sprint races. De Cunha, as you mentioned, not on the pace. Fourie should actually charge past him, but then, of course, Fourie's got the 2 Subaru Subarus to watch out. Henry Grunewald and Richard Pinnock have been sublime today.
They certainly have, as has Michael Stephen. They've got to get past Michael Stephen first before they can catch Johan Fourie. Fourie's battling at the moment to catch Cunha, so Cunha's team has done something in that 5-minute break to make sure that the car is on the pace that it needs to be, and it seems to be working right now.
Well, of course, the mechanics are only allowed to carry tools and whatever they need, spare parts. 2 mechanics per team on the grid at any given time. They can't pass stuff over the wall, and they get 5 minutes to work on the car and set up the grid. It becomes very, very interesting and a new dynamic for Bridgestone production car racing.
Yeah, it certainly is a fantastic, innovative format for this year, and as they come out of West Bank corner, we see Michael Stephen starting to put the pressure onto the back end now. It was originally coming from the Subaru, but the Subaru has been outdone. Michael Stephen sneaking through on Grunewald, and Grunewald now putting the pressure directly back on. So all-wheel drive and quattro just behind the 2 rear-wheel drive cars, and the rolling start format has definitely played into the hands of Melville Priest.
That it has. And in fact, I'm looking at Marco Cunha at the moment in that 350Z Nissan. If there was ever going to be a time to get a podium or some points, it's right now, Greg.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Keep it up and keep it all together. You've got to try and get onto the podium, salvage something out of the weekend. It hasn't gone all according to plan for the Tubular Tech and Q8 Oils Nissan team, but they definitely are salvaging something here with the possibility of a podium. Look at Grunewald. Oh, this is amazing stuff.
He was getting on the gas as well, and of course he's not being leaving. Oh my word! Stephen gets it all wrong. Gives Henny a nudge. Can he save it? Can Henny save it?
He does. All-wheel drive and quattro in the dirt. Fortunately, the 4-wheel drive mechanisms on both those cars have helped them out. It doesn't seem that Stephen's going to be able to get out. He's broken the right-hand front. Oh, that's a massive pity there for the Engine Extreme team. But Henny Grunewald, as you said, Steve, what a save. Well held, bud.
Wow, did you see that wheel? Unbelievable. So this opens up the door. Marco Cunha is coming under pressure from the lone Sassel Subaru. Richard Pinnard is going, I've got you, my son. And here he goes. All that drive, he just blows away Marco Cunha. And just in the background, Fourie not on the pace again.
Well, we said that Pinnard was going to be on the podium. He got there in race 3 in 2nd place. He's now, 3rd place, I beg your pardon. He's now moved to 2nd. So Cunha has a chance of possibly salvaging something massive here. He can get onto the podium and finish right up there. They're not going to catch Melville Priest, not at the pace he's going at. Interesting format of racing, and it has proved to be one of the most exciting races of the day.
Well, it's created an element, a slight element of luck, and I always like that. It's like a gamble. Here comes our race winner. Melville Priest blows the competition away. Richard Pinnard from the team Subaru, Sassel Subaru, gets a sterling 2nd. And in the background,
Marco Cunha, an amazing drive. Well done, all 3 drivers. But congratulations to Afrox BMW. 3 out of the 4 go to them, and they're going to be happy with that performance, there's no doubt. Pinnard in 2nd, a superb effort from him, and a much improved drive from what we've seen. Cunha in 3rd, Johan Fourie in 4th, Henny Grunewald in 5th place, just ahead of Michael Stephen, and unfortunately Chop Sapuka and Anthony Taylor out of race 4.
The 4th and final race, it was a brilliant display by Melville Priest. You managed to stay out of the trouble and another win, but more importantly, you bagged more points.
Yeah, you know, it's always nice starting from the front because the mayhem tends to happen behind you sometimes, and it clearly did in the 4th race. Red flagged, come slower, but had a good start again when on the restart, and we went. I did 2 qualifying laps. That was my instruction. Got a nice 4-second gap, and then just kept it steady from there.
Class A championship points. Henny Grunewald top of the day, so 29 points in the bag for him. Melville Priest and Anthony Taylor, the 2 BMWs, only a point separating them, and 2 behind Grunewald.
Hi, I'm Melville Priest from Team Afrox BMW. Please join us at Kyalami on the 2nd of April. Hope to see you there.
Join us after the break for some Force-inducted Class T action.
Bridgestone Production Car Championship. It's race 1, it's round 1 at Kyalami, and now for the qualifying of Class T, Greg.
Class T, very important to get the 6 points that are up for grabs for race number 1 out of the way. It's going to be yet another battle of the forces of Volkswagen and Ford. And unfortunately, Gary Fermata just off the pace of Graham Nathan. Nathan lighting up the track, taking that pole position away, but getting the 70 kilos of success ballast to put him on pole.
So the two gladiators side by side, Graham Nathan, Gary Formato.
And Gennaro Bonafide and Kieran Kwambi, the young guns, on the second row.
Then on the next row, Michael van Rooyen in a new car, and then Sean Duminy, the other Ford.
And we've got Ibrahim Levy and Michelle Singh in the Liqui Moly BMW.
And the Graham Nation show is in town once again. You're leaving off where you left off, aren't you?
Well, we're going to have a really good go at it. My car did a great job this morning. All credit, obviously, to the team, as usual. I know you're going to wave your head and go, yeah, but that's the truth. I did a good job this morning as well. We were a little bit off yesterday. A touch worried last night, but the guys calmed me down enough to do a good enough job.
New format, and this is going to be particularly interesting because I think this is going to suit you.
Yeah, I like the sprint racing. I like to go hard really, really soon. The long races where you got to conserve all kinds of things are probably too complicated for my little brain, but yeah, I like the all balls, no brains attitude, and it's going to work for me.
It worked for him last year. He's got the #1 plate, so it definitely has to do something.
No doubt about that, and of course he's going to come under some serious pressure. New innovations for the Bridgestone Production Car Championship in Class T, not only in Class A, but it affects these boys as well. We've got a rolling start on the basis that Class A had a rolling start. So, we're back to basics, we're back to the norm, and we're back to what we're good at, Bridgestone Production Car Racing.
Gennaro Bonafide outdoing Gary Formato into turn 3 and 4, and he's up in the second place. But look at the different lines that Graham Nathan's having to use through the corners. That extra 70 kilos is definitely affecting his ability to hit the lines that he normally does. Let's see how far that affects him and how quickly the rest of the field can catch him. A good start from Van Rooyen in the Rustenburg Steel Corporation Opel. Now this time out in an Opel, he was with the Ford camp last year, and now a lone rider at the moment. But look at this. This is what Class T is all about. You do not get closer action in saloon cars than this. And Gennaro Bonafide will be concerned about the fact that Formato is so close.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, these stalwarts are motor racing, and, you know, he's going to have to bring his A game. There's no doubt about that. But Gennaro Bonafide, he's got a lot of talent. He's got all the accolades behind his name, and he's going to go far. But I'll tell you what, this is a six-lapper. It's all about sprint and getting to the front as quickly as you possibly can.
Well, at this stage of the race, it's Gary Formato that has to do all the work because, remember, he was only second. So he's got 2 points. Graham's already got 3 in the bag. And he's now sitting in third place behind Gennaro Bonafide. Out of the Nathan's Motorsport camp, but right now running in the Team Ferrodo colours and looking so good. But he's having to push hard because he knows that Formato is not going to let him get away with anything.
Well, he's got 35 kilos more weight than Gary Formato, and that might not sound like a lot of weight in the great scheme of things, Greg, but I'll tell you what, it will make a difference, and I'm sure we're going to see some more pressure brought to bear on Graham Nathan from Gary Formato.
We certainly are, because the Cashel BP Ford is already going side by side with Gennaro. A little touch between the two of them across the line there. Hardly anything in it as they cross the line. It must have been about 200ths of a second as they did. And as they come into turn 2, Formato got great drive out of the final corner and moves up in a second. No answer from the Ferrodo man, but he's good on the brakes. He has to be. He's sponsored by a brake supplier.
Yeah, I sometimes get the feeling that basically Gennaro Bonafide coming into that first turn picks a very, very different line and does leave himself open for attack, which was the case.
100% right as they go down towards Sunset now. Once again, a little bit further back, there's some action in the mid-pack, and you can see Kieran Kwambi and the other Ford of Sean Duminy already starting to go at it. This is something we saw almost all of last season, and yet again, the usual contenders are in it.
Oh, on the pace, look at this. Graham Nathan having to heave that car around. There's nothing smooth about that. And why would there be? 70 kilograms on board. Formato chasing him down. And I'll tell you what, he's on the pace at the moment. He's starting to put Graham Nathan under pressure. Right up to the shelf, top of West Bank. It's a 3 apex corner. Look at the control here. There is just no room there between Graham Nathan and Formato. Chasing him down the hill, down to the bottom of the mine shaft. On board right now. Great shot in the front of Gary Formato. That Ford is in scintillating form at the moment. On the way through to the bowl. Right now, behind him, we've got Gennaro Bonafide.
There's a move though, Steve, up the inside. Formato, 20 kilos lighter, and he sneaks on the inside. Thanks for coming. Graham Nathan had no answer. He's going to try and come back at him into 13. They are side by side, but I think Formato's going to have... Yes, he has. He's got the drive perfectly done out of the bowl, and he's up into first place for the first time.
Wow, wide eyes from Gennaro Bonafide right now. He's in the same position. He's got Graham Nathan. How many times does that happen in a season?
Well, there was yellow flags waving, so they all had to tap out of that one, and no overtaking. Not quite sure why. There, the reason is at the front end, it was one of the slower cars coming into the final corner there, but the Class T boys are now at it for the last lap in this race. There is going to be nothing held back here. This really counts now, because you've got to give it everything you can.
I think Gary Formato, if he can continue this, he will be in a very, very good position and feel confident. He had a lot of bad luck, as a lot of the drivers as well. Notice how that Opel is not in this mix at the moment. Michael van Rooyen missing.
He's going to be there soon. A little bit of development on that car, and we saw when Richard Ritz was behind the wheel of that thing, it definitely had some race pace. But right now, it's the two GTIs that are going head-to-head here for second place on the road. And Formato has got away, opened up a little bit of a cushion, and this is allowing these two boys to go at it for the latter part of the podium.
Yeah, nice shots on board from Nathan, and with Gennaro Bonafide. Of course, these are both Nathan performance cars as well. They spend a lot of time putting these cars together, not just these two, but also Kieran Kwambi in that as well.
So as they go into the S's for the final time, it's the Nathan Motorsport boys at it for second and third. And in fact, Graham Nathan's put in the fastest lap time of this race. So there's a possibility, if no one gets a better lap time on this lap, that he is going to be on pole for race 3. Here they go, up towards West Bank corner. Gennaro fans out, tries to find a way past. He's a difficult man to pass, though. Graham Nathan, one of the biggest men in motorsport, and he's got one of the biggest Golfs on the road, too.
Well, the widest, anyway.
Definitely. As they come out of West Bank corner, down the West Bank mine shaft, they're going to try and catch Gary Formato. There is a back marker in the way. It's a 350Z there, and I don't think it's going to come into much play there because it has got a little bit extra power. But if it does, something could go wrong dramatically in the last two corners.
Yeah, it's imperative to actually make sure there's a nice gap on the start between Class A and Class T, because you don't want those sort of things happening at all. So, but Gennaro Bonafide still putting pressure on Graham Nathan. And Graham Nathan, remember, still carrying 70 kilos of weight. 35 for Formato at the moment, and Formato's made that count.
Go into the final corner. This is the last one. The checkered flag is going to be waiting for them. And Gary Formato is going to make it first blood of 2011. He takes the victory. Graham Nathan's going to come through in second place, and Gennaro Bonafide. And it's Nathan's Motorsports 2, 3, and 4, because there comes Kieran Kwambi in fourth place.
Let's check out the results as they stand. Gary Formato, great race win. Graham Nathan, Gennaro Bonafide, Kieran Kwambi, and then Ibrahim Levy in that GTI.
Michelle Singh in sixth place, just ahead of Michael van Rooyen. 2 laps down. Sean Dermody eventually in 8th place. He was 3 laps down.
Race number 2, this is where we get the inverted grid. This is the new innovation from Bridgestone Production Cars. 2 mechanics allowed in with tools and parts. It's a draw for 6. It's considered a rolling start by the pole man, and that pole man is...
Yes, indeed. Michelle Singh inverted completely. So he's going to be in that diesel-powered liquid moly BMW. Into turn 1, he gets outdone by 3 GTIs. 2 around the outside and 1 on his inside. And awesome stuff there from the GTIs. Michelle Singh now has to worry about the fact that he's got Graham Nathan and Gary Formato behind him. Gennaro Bonafide's not worried about that. He wants past Kieran Kwambi in the Tyres in Transit GTI. It's Ferodo versus Tyres in Transit. But what a start from Ibrahim Levy. He is absolutely hauling. And if he's got to the front and he's got pace, he might be a difficult man to catch.
He might be, but I did notice something quite alarming in his car in the first race. It looked a little skittish, and I felt that he might have had a bit of a braking problem. Look, I could be wrong, but he's certainly a car we must keep an eye on, because I don't think all is well with that GTI.
Oh, I mean, Levy and yellow flags waving. We saw that earlier on. That was the incident that Paulo da Cunha smashed into the wall. You see his stricken 350Z on the sideline, but back on board with Gennaro Bonafide, and look who's behind him once again.
Well, there's no difference, is it? It's the usual suspects right now. So Levy leading them out for the meantime. And also bringing pressure is Kieran Kwambi. Behind him, Gennaro Bonafide. And then, it goes without saying, Gary Formato. Haven't heard much from Sean Dermody of late. Hopefully he'll get that car grooved and dialed in.
Unfortunately, 5 minutes wasn't enough for Sean Dermody and for Michael van Rooyen to get those cars sorted out. So they'll have to wait for race 3. The interesting concept there with race 3 is they've done a decent enough lap time in race 1. They might move themselves nicely up on the grid and be in contention. Levy gets it completely wrong.
Oh, my word. Where's he going?
Now he's run wide out of their bowl and heading down to 13. Looks like Formato's going to come on the inside of Gennaro Bonafide. They are side by side, and a little bit of rubbing there between the two of them. Oh, Gennaro puts 2 wheels on the dirt, and that's going to give Formato the chance to go through into second. He does so. Gennaro goes defensive, tries to keep Graham out. Nathan all over the back of his stablemate. Can he get through? No, he can't. Good driving there from Gennaro, losing out only 1 position, which could have cost him 2.
Well, Levy lost out 3.
4, 5 by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Looks like he's fallen way back off the pace. And the only man who's behind him now is Michelle Singh. So it is the usual contenders at the front. Whoa, where is Gennaro Bonafide going? Into the kitty litter, a monster off there for him, and it looks like, whoa, your front right is flat. That is a big problem. Must have happened when he came together with Gary Formato. The front right-hand tyre has gone down, and he'll have to go back to the pits and hopefully get a new one slapped onto the car.
All right, 4 of 6 as well. Under pressure right now is Kieran Kwambi from Formato. He's had a taste of victory on a couple of races. Can he go 3 for 3? Unbelievable. Down the inside, and he does, Kwambi. Great driving from Gary Formato. I'll tell you what, I haven't seen this Ford perform like this. Oh, a bit of rubbing on the doors and windows and all sorts of things. Just letting you know, and he's come back at it. Kieran Kwambi came back in Formato. Unbelievable.
Formato just compromised his drive out of the final turn, but he's got the drive back again. He might be able to sneak on the inside if Kieran Kwambi doesn't keep it tight. Through turn 2 and 3, heading up to 3 now. There, Kwambi runs wide. That could be costly. Can he sneak on the inside? Gary Formato's seen their door open, but it's slammed shut once again as they go into turn 4.
Ford in the middle of 2 GTIs. Can he get himself out of this little mix? And he's trying. Great drive from Gary Formato at the moment. We're on board. He's got a clear racetrack ahead of him under the Goodyear Bridge on the way down to Sunset as well. Kieran Kwambi down the inside, not letting this go at the moment. Too much. The Ford has got too much drive, too much speed, and too much aggression.
Yeah, and around the outside of Sunset, not an easy thing to do, but Gary Formato held on tight. And Big Cahone's there, and it paid off because he's got to the front end. It's Kwambi in second. Graham Nathan sitting in third place must be thinking to himself, what have I got to do here to catch these guys? He's fallen off a little bit in the final lap, but he's going to just take it easy and salvage those cars so he can start race 3.
No, I totally agree with you, Greg. I think he's fun. He can't push Kwambi. He's just tapped off to save the car.
Remember, he has got 70 kilos on, even though it is race 2, so just taking it easy, making sure that he's ready to go for race 3. He put in the fastest lap time, which means he's going to go into pole position for race 3, but unfortunately it is going to be for Formato. 2 for 2 so far in Class T.
And carrying weight, can you believe it? Great win for Ford. Kieran Kwambi in second, and Graham Nathan just slowly crossing the line, saving the car.
In the background, a little battle that raged all the way through the latter part of race number 2 was between Michelle Singh and Ibrahim Levy. But at the end of the day, it was Formato who took the second race victory in his BP and Castrol Ford ST. An awesome drive from him. Kieran Kwambi in second place, Graham Nathan in third, and Levy winning out the battle between himself and Michelle Singh in the Liqui Moly BMW.
In 6th position, Gennaro Bonafide having to come in after that flat tyre. Michael van Rooyen in the Opel Astra and Sean Dumity didn't even start. Gary Formato, Team Ford Racing, you must be ecstatic.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy today. I tell you what, and everybody comes up and says, just thanks to the team and thanks to mom and dad and everything else. But I really have to thank the team. I think we cut down to 2 cars this year, and I think that shows as well. The guys had time to prepare things the way they wanted to do it. Found a couple of things that we perhaps not the way we would have liked them to have been last year, and we did struggle with that. We rectified that, and it's nice to come out here and achieve the result. It shows that the work that was done was right. I think I've worked on myself a little bit, probably a little bit more motivated than I have been for a while coming into the season. So yeah, we're very, very happy.
So here comes the start of race number 3, and these times, the qualifying times, will put them on pole, Graham Nathan, because he had the fastest lap in the first race.
And he Goes down into turn one, battling with his arch rival in the Ford. Formato getting a much better drive off the line. And his teammate, Sean Germany, is back, and so is the Opel of Michael van Rooyen. We're on board with Gennaro Bonafide. This is for Rotor Racing's GTI on the back end of Graham Nathan. You can see just how hard he's having to work. At 70 kilos in the car, doesn't make it easy for that car to turn or to accelerate.
Well, I suppose the same thing would apply to that new Astra, the Opel Astra OPC, which I understand now stands for Opel Performance Centre. I didn't know what those words meant, but now I do. But I'll tell you what, loads of room for development of Michael van Rooyen's car. We're just hoping that he'll have a decent result and it'll get from strength to strength as we move through the tour.
Well, as you can see, things just go from strength to strength every single time. Oh, there's the BMW. That's the incident we saw earlier on in Class A. And yep, that's Melville Priest out of it. He's parked on the sideline there. He'll have to come from behind. We might see him a bit of the action later on. But with a 6-lap sprint format, you don't necessarily have the time to catch the back end of Class T like you would in the longer race of 2010.
Out of the second S's, and they get good drive up there onto the top of the shelf. We're at West Bank at the moment, and there's still no change. It is the Ford leading us out. Graham Nathan will want to change that very quickly, but nice to see Duminy, as you mentioned earlier on, back in the race. Gennaro Bonafide, Kieran Kwambi had a great result in the other race. He'll want to improve on that as well. Abraham Levy had it all to do. He was in a commanding position, but I reckon he had a bit of brake problems, but I'm not too sure on that. We're not going to get commitment on that at the moment, but maybe it was. I still think that's dodgy at the moment. Something's not quite right with that car.
Gennaro Bonafide is getting it all right this stage. He wants to get past the two cars in front of him. Late braking from Gennaro. You can see just how late he was on the brakes there, closing right up on the back end of Graham Nathan. Nathan doing the same thing to Formato. Three-way battle at the front end here. Absolutely nothing in it between these guys as they start another lap. And Formato has got his work cut out for him. He's got GTIs hunting him down.
Well, let me ask you a question, Greg. When was the last time you saw Formato win back-to-back races?
Well, that was about one race ago. He went back-to-back. He's now going to go 3 for 3 if he can do this. Let's see if he can keep it all together.
Well, you pass. It was a trick question.
Into turn 4, and Gennaro and Graham having to throw those GTIs around. Not easy to get them out of the corners, and you can see how hard Gennaro's working in that cockpit to stay with the pace that is being set at the front end. A magnificent recovery here from the Opel, though, I've got to say. He's only just off the back end of Gennaro Bonafide, and Michael van Rooyen, we saw it all of last season in the Ford. Very talented driver, and he's now up there in a brand new machine.
Out of West Bank and down the mine shaft, one of the fastest places on this, the great left-hander. And in that mix is Levy. And oh, look at that. Oh, he's lost it. The brakes again. I'm sure of it. Oh, I can't believe it's worked out for him like this. Singh goes Moggy. Unbelievable. And Singh goes through as well.
Gennaro Bonafide going right wide and trying to find another line on the dirt section of the circuit. Can't be using the dirt, you've got to use the tar and the black stuff. As they come across the line, this is going to be tight stuff between these boys. Can you believe it? Formato has gone 3 for 3. Gennaro Bonafide trying to outdo his teammate, but just not getting it right across the line. Graham Nathan hangs on for second. Gennaro Bonafide in the Ferrota machine will come through in third place. But an amazing dice there between those guys. Formato taking it. Nathan ahead of Bonafide. Kieran Kwambi in fourth place, and Ibrahim Levy eventually moving up into fifth place after that incident between himself, Germany, and Michelle Singh. And there you can see they finished in 6th and 7th. Michael van Rooyen 1 lap down in 8th.
So 4 sprint races it is, and we get the reversal grid again, a drawn-out lotto style. It's a rolling style for the man on pole decides that. It just so happens to be an 8-swing, 7 cars in it. I'll tell you what, Michelle Singh is not going to have a better opportunity, but Ibrahim Levy is going to have something to say about that. And then come the hardcore racing drivers. Kieran Kwambi, Gennaro Bonafide, Graham Nathan. It's all a mishmash. What a day's racing has been so far. Plenty of surprises, and also going to form is a Gary Formato. On a drive, can he make 4 out of 4?
No, I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to do 4 out of 4, but if he does, he'll be a big surprise. There's no doubt about that. We're on board with Bonafide once again as they go down the little straightaway into Sunset Corner. Up the inside of Michelle Singh. Now, Michelle Singh just won't have the same kind of pace as those 3 GTIs that are going to go past him now do. And Graham Nathan is going to make it the 3rd GTI past the diesel. Can Gary Formato sneak through into Sunset? Whoa, can you believe it? Oh, Levy's got it completely wrong coming out of Clubhouse, and he puts it into the wall. Those brake problems are definitely affecting that car, and he's now brought it to a complete halt.
Yeah, no coming back from that, I'm afraid. No coming back. Kieran Kwambi on the charge. Gennaro Bonafini chasing him down. Oh, look, a little rattle on the front bonnet of Graham Nathan. That's not going to mean anything as well. And of course, the success ballast is now starting to really play a pivotal role, Greg.
It certainly is, and it's definitely worked out to make this racing even more exciting than what we saw in 2010. As they go down the West Bank mine shaft into the bowl, this is where you're going to see a fanning out of cars and possibly late outbraking. Kwame goes on the inside. Very defensive driving from him. Gennaro Bonafini's going to come at him, though. Look at that. He gets good drive. Takes a late apex. Now they are side by side, heading for turn 13. Treacherous turn 13, especially when you've got two GTRs side by side. Oh, there's a little bit of touch between the two of them. And the tires in transit. GTR gets forced wide. Look at Nathan. He streaks through the middle and takes both of them. That's awesome driving.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff from Nathan. Kieran Kwame, I don't know. He had it there. He really did. I mean, he pushed Gennaro Bonafini all the way. I still felt he had the better line. And then it just opened up. And then, lo and behold, who's there? Nathan on the prowl.
Do not open up a door like that for Graham Nathan, because he's going to come through, and so is Famato. He's gone from 5th place now into 2nd. An awesome drive. It's changing up all the time. There you can see on the outside, that's the Audi. Oh, the stricken Audi there, unfortunately, of Michael Stephen. He's now on the sideline, and we saw that earlier in Class A. But Class T is not finished yet, and there is an opportunity here for Gary Famato to go 4 out of 4.
Absolutely. And how can not the drivers like this form, and how can the fans not fall in love with this form? This is going to be a hit this season. 2011's in store for us, and it's larger than life. Round 1 at Kyalami. It couldn't have started a better way.
This is the way we would like to see things happening, and whoa, you can hear things in the background getting sideways. Oh, big problems there, but no problems for the front end of this field. Nathan, he is the man to catch. Famato is going to try everything in his arsenal to get past this man in the Indy Oil and Nathan's Motorsport GTI. It's not going to be easy.
There's no ways that Graham Nathan is going to allow bragging rights 4 out of 4. There's no ways. Graham Nathan in control, and he will make that GTR, as we've said earlier on in the show, very wide indeed. Can Famato, can he do it? I'll tell you what, with Graham Nathan in front, he knows what this means as well. Just behind him, Gennaro Bonafini is always in the mix, and he's having a really good day so far as well.
He's had a fantastic day's racing, as has Kieran Kwame, and in fact the entire Class T field have put on some superb action, as always. But now, heading into turn 13, what has Gary Famato got to do? Can he find an area that Graham Nathan has got a bit of a chink in his armour? Or has he got some place that he can try and sneak up on the inside? Remember, he is 20 kilos lighter than Nathan, so it is definitely going to be to his advantage. And maybe he can find that little chink and sneak through.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you, Greg. And the other thing I wanted to make mention is that we are going to Cape Town. They are just going to love this kind of racing down there.
It's going to prove to be very interesting. Smaller track, a little bit tighter corners, one big long straightaway, and with these 4 sprint races, I think Cape Town are going to be in store for some serious action.
All right, but back to the action right now, and it's Graham Nathan leading out for Matos on the final lap. Can he hold on to it? He's going to spoil the party, although I'd say if you won 3 out of 3, that's a pretty big party.
That's still a decent party to have in the Ford pits, but Nathan will be happy that he's been able to take 1 away from Gary Famato and start his championship retention, if he can do it. Because with the kind of action we've seen all day today, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, the other thing that also to make mention of, Greg, as well, how consistency played a vital role last year, even more so this year.
I have to agree 100% with that statement, and consistency definitely wins championships. As they cross the line for the final time here today, it is Graham Nathan taking a spoil away from the Ford Racing team for a perfect score. But unfortunately, somebody has to win out at the end of the day. And this time out, it's Graham Nathan. He finishes up ahead of Gary Famato, who had a fantastic day in the saddle. And it's Gennaro Bonafini in 3rd place, Kieran Kwame in 4th, Michelle Singh hanging on to that 5th place in the Liqui-Moly BMW. Michael van Rooyen, well, he's got a bit of work to do. So has Sean Duminy. And Ibrahim Levy, when we get to Cape Town, will want home ground advantage.
Great way to get the season off to a start.
You said it. It's just over-the-moon type stuff. Gary did a great job. The racing was superb. A great product. I've got the Golf 5 GTI. It's just superb. It just pumps out the performance all the time. And yeah, everybody that's backed me, thank you very much to RG Motorsports, Indy Oil, Peter Kaedi, and then my mechanics, Dean Jeffrey, Gerald Wright, and what more can I say? Some great stuff to start the 2011 season. It's only going to get better. As soon as the guys get a bit more reliability out of their motor cars, it's going to get faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, you better believe it, Graham Nathan. That's exactly where we're going. Right now, let's have a look at the point system as it stands. Gary Famato, 42 points. Graham Nathan in second, 37. Kieran Kwame, Gennaro Bonafini, and a good 22 points. Michelle Singh there as well.
Hi guys, my name is Sean Dubney from Team Ford Racing. Please remember to join us on the 2nd of April in Kyalami in Cape Town. See you guys there.
For all the information on the Westbank Super Series, log on to their website, westbanksuperseries.co.za.
That's a wrap for the Bridgestone production cars at Kyalami. Next up is the Westbank V8 Supercars as well as the Engine Volkswagen Cup. I'm Gugu. See you next time.